With the WINN FM News, I am Kevin Brown. Our top stories: Romeo Brown charged for firearm and ammunition possession. Tourism Minister on enhancing civil aviation and maritime sectors in St. Kitts and Nevis. Accident claims another life amid rising calls for road safety following heartbreaking fatalities in St. Kitts and Nevis. House passes $1.127 billion budget for 2025. Jelani Duncan and Tabari Roberts sentenced to prison for deadly shooting in St. Kitts. Walter Bass sentenced for indecent assault. St. Kitts Nevis Attorney General advocates for road safety following recent fatal accidents. Suspected drownings claim lives of 2 tourists in St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Lucia MP demands action against rising crime. Several businesses gutted by fire in Grenada's capital. Internationally, U.S. House approves bill to avert government shutdown. Now, the details. Romeo Brown, a resident of Hermitage Village in Cayon, St. Kitts, has been charged with possessing a firearm and ammunition following a police operation. The charges stem from events between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. on December 15, 2024. During the execution of a search warrant at Brown's residence, officers from the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force uncovered a high-point firearm and 9 rounds of .40 caliber ammunition. The confiscated items, deemed illegal, were taken into police custody, and Brown was promptly arrested on the scene. On December 17, 2024, Brown was formally charged at the Bastia police station. Authorities continue to investigate the circumstances of the case, and the local community remains informed about the adherence to firearms and public safety laws. The investigation and subsequent legal proceedings will determine Brown's future consequences. In her intervention during the 2025 budget debates on December 18, 2025, St. Kitts and Nevis Minister of Tourism, the Honourable Marcia Henderson, delivered a compelling address showcasing the government's commitment to enhancing both the civil aviation and maritime sectors. During her speech, she articulated how these sectors are vital to the tourism growth strategy, directly influencing economic expansion and accessibility for travellers to St. Kitts and Nevis. A crucial point made by Minister Henderson centered around the recent air service agreements that aim to bolster international connectivity.
These agreements will expand air access, fostering increased visitor arrivals and economic opportunities,
she stated, indicating that such efforts are integral to elevating the Federation's tourism profile. The minister emphasized the successful negotiations with several airlines, which have facilitated smoother travel for tourists, and reaffirmed the government's proactive stance in fostering international partnerships. Furthermore, Henderson addressed the recent accomplishments of the Aviation Division, which conducted extensive inspections and training initiatives to ensure operational excellence and compliance with international standards. The significance of these actions cannot be overstated. They underpin the security and reliability essential for attracting tourists.
Our ongoing capacity building initiatives have been equally significant. Over 449 individuals have been trained across CASPA, and that's this year, customs, and other critical agencies in aviation security awareness, crisis management, and operational preparedness,
she remarked, illustrating the government's prioritization of skilled workforce development within the aviation sector. Minister Henderson also addressed aviation initiatives and maritime affairs and their intrinsic link to tourism. She mentioned implementing the maritime single-window system to streamline vessel logistics at ports and enhance cruise lines' efficiency and attractiveness. Integrating maritime safety protocols is crucial in establishing St. Kitts and Nevis as a reputable cruising destination. Moreover, Henderson highlighted the environmental responsibility adopted by the maritime sector, reflecting a commitment to sustainability through initiatives such as reducing emissions by international maritime organizations. This dual focus on connectivity and sustainability is expected to yield significant dividends for the tourism sector while supporting the government's broader economic goals. The minister expressed optimism about future visitor growth, citing the signing of recent air services agreements, including partnerships with Qatar and France.
While North America, the Caribbean, and Europe remain key markets, Madam Deputy Speaker, we are not limiting our vision,
she stated, echoing a forward-thinking approach to the tourism landscape. Expanding into emerging markets, including South America and the Middle East, is an obvious testament to this ambitious strategy. Minister Henderson reinforced the critical interdependency between civil aviation, maritime sectors, and tourism within St. Kitts and Nevis. The government is laying a foundation for sustainable growth and attracting high-spending travelers through investments in infrastructure and strategic agreements. The multifaceted approach reflects the administration's commitment to enhancing tourism and supporting economic resilience for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. As she concluded her remarks, she noted that the government's efforts, marked by resilience, inclusivity, and strategic foresight, have set the stage for a prosperous future in tourism.
The 2025 budget represents more than just numbers. It's a roadmap to a brighter, more resilient, and inclusive future. Very inclusive. Through bold investments, strategic innovation, and an unwavering commitment to our people, this government is not just responding to challenges, but actively shaping the destiny of our federation.
She passionately asserted, ensuring that the narrative of growth and opportunity for St. Kitts and Nevis is firmly rooted in the government's ongoing endeavors. The Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis is grappling with the aftermath of several tragic road fatalities, most recently underscored by the death of 29-year-old Dr. Simoneth Williams. The incident occurred on December 20th, 2024, between 11:30 p.m. and 12 p.m. on the Island Maid Road in New Road, adjacent to the Robert L. Bradshaw International Airport's runway fencing. According to the police, preliminary investigations suggest that Williams was struck while walking along the main road. She was transported to the Josephine France General Hospital, where she succumbed to her injuries shortly after her arrival. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force has initiated an investigation into the circumstances surrounding this fatal incident. The police identified both the vehicle involved and the driver, who remains unnamed at the time of reporting. The Ministry of Health, in a statement on the tragic death of Dr. Williams, reiterated the call for increased road safety, stating that such tragedies can be prevented and urging the community to, quote, commit to being their brother's keeper, fostering a culture of care and responsibility while navigating our streets, end quote. This tragedy comes just days after the Federation experienced its previous harrowing road accidents, including a deadly crash on December 11th that claimed the lives of 5 individuals near Brimstone Hill, and another accident on December 6th that left 2 19-year-olds dead. These escalating fatalities have reignited widespread calls for increased road safety measures across the islands. Prime Minister, the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew, emphasized the imperative for enhanced road safety as he mourned the deaths caused by these distressing accidents. He urged citizens to exercise greater caution while driving, especially during the festive season when traffic typically surges. Additionally, the Citizen Security Secretariat has expressed deep concern regarding recent traffic fatalities and the need for collective action to prevent further tragedies. They have urged all road users to exercise maximum caution, particularly as the Sugar Mass and Christmas festivities continue, which tends to increase road usage. The government and various community organizations are collaborating to launch campaigns to heighten awareness about road safety and advocate for measures such as avoiding alcohol before driving, adhering to speed limits, and remaining vigilant to distractions while on the road. As the Federation continues to mourn the recent losses, the community is called to action, to come together in solidarity, support affected families, and prioritize safety to prevent such heart-wrenching incidents from occurring in the future. In a session characterized by intense discussions, the Appropriation Bill 2024-2025 was successfully passed in the House on December 20th, 2024. The budget totals $1.127 billion earmarked for the nation's federal expenditures for the upcoming year. The expected expenditure includes recurrent capital and net lending amounting to EC $1,9,136,484 and a legally provided total of EC $117,942,371. The passage of the bill comes on the heels of Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew's budget address delivered on December 16th, 2024, under the theme Innovating Inclusivity and Sustainability, Our Pathway Forward, followed by a week of discussion and debate. The 2025 budget exhibits substantial increases across multiple ministries compared to 2024 allocations. Specifically, recurrent expenditures are projected at $885 million, while capital expenditures are $209.4 million. This financial strategy is tailored to bolster essential sectors including public security, education, tourism, and health, crucial for the nation's ongoing development and recovery following previous economic challenges. Key allocations include $85.6 million for the Ministry of National Security, a 10.5% increase for the Ministry of Education at $107.5 million, and a remarkable 92.7% increase to the tourism sector. Additionally, the health sector is set to enhance service delivery with $86.8 million in recurrent expenditures. These initiatives suggest the government's commitment to not only immediate societal needs, but also the broader goal of establishing a stable economic future for St. Kitts and Nevis. In a significant ruling, His Lordship Justice Patrick Thompson Jr. sentenced Jelani Duncan and Tabari Roberts for their involvement in the fatal shooting of Lamonte Heiliger and Jaquan Merritt in McKnight, St. Kitts. Duncan, 27, of Cabbage Tree, Keon, was sentenced to 29 years for manslaughter. Roberts, 37, of Lower Thibault Avenue, McKnight, was sentenced to 30 years for manslaughter due to provocation. These sentences were handed down on December 19, 2024, at the High Court in Charlestown, Nevis. The crimes committed on January 11, 2021 shocked the local community. Authorities have noted that Duncan had already served 2 years, 10 months, and 22 days on remand, which has been deducted from his total sentence. Similarly, Roberts' sentence has been reduced by 3 years, 11 months, and 8 days as part of the judicial process. The case underscores the severe consequences of gun violence, which continues to be a critical issue in the region. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force expressed deep appreciation for the public's support throughout the investigation, highlighting the importance of community involvement in maintaining safety and justice. The sentences aim not only to deliver justice to the victims' families, but also to serve as a warning against the escalation of violence within society. Walter Bass, a resident of Gillard's Meadow in St. Peter's, St. Kitts, has been sentenced to 18 months in His Majesty's prison following a conviction for indecent assault. The offense, which has drawn significant public attention, occurred on May 29, 2019. It marked a serious breach of personal security and trust within the community. The court's decision reflects a commitment to addressing such allegations with the seriousness they warrant and aims to provide justice for the victims involved. The sentencing occurred on December 17, 2024, when His Lordship Justice Ian Morley KC presided over the case at the High Court in Bastille. During his announcement, Justice Morley emphasized the gravity of the offense and the need to uphold community standards of safety and respect for individuals. As part of his sentence, Bass will be eligible for early release after serving 1/3 of his term, provided he displays good behavior while incarcerated. Additionally, time spent on remand prior to the sentencing will be accounted for his overall prison term. This case underscores ongoing concerns regarding personal safety and the importance of legal accountability in St. Kitts. Local authorities and advocacy groups continue to call for enhanced measures to provide individuals from similar acts of violence and abuse. The outcome of this case is anticipated to resonate through the community as discussions about safety, justice, and the treatment of such crimes persist in public discourse. During a parliamentary sitting focused on the 2025 budget debates on December 18, 2024, the Honourable Garth Wilkin, the Minister of Legal and Justice Affairs and Attorney General of St. Kitts and Nevis, addressed the alarming rise in road fatalities. 2 tragic incidents on December 6th and 11th resulted in the loss of 7 lives, prompting the Minister to emphasize the urgent need for enhanced road safety measures.
Road fatalities over the last couple of weeks, and even before. Every life lost to recklessness on the road is one too many.
He stated poignantly, drawing on personal experiences to illuminate the critical situation. He recalled witnessing the devastating impact of a similar accident in Antigua during his youth, which ignited his lifelong passion for road safety. Minister Wilkin announced in October 2024 the establishment of a sustainable road safety project. The project aims to tackle the growing number of traffic accidents head-on.
We have seen an exceptional increase in accidents, reckless driving, some fatal, as we have seen. But the project's mission is to enhance road safety through data analysis, public consultation, and sustainable measures, targeting zero traffic fatalities by 2030.
The project, still in its early stages, will leverage artificial intelligence and technology to ensure that traffic laws are respected and infrastructure promotes safe travel. Reports revealed a staggering 6,526 traffic accidents in St. Kitts between 2019 and 2023, with 128 resulting in serious injuries and 19 fatalities in 2023 alone. The recent accidents have underscored the urgency of this initiative. The Attorney General expressed his commitment to leading this initiative, stating,
"I promise to the people of this country that I will lead this committee to bring change in respect of road safety in this country."
Immediate plans include analyzing road and traffic data, addressing urgent safety concerns, and consulting the public extensively. The minister criticized reckless behaviors, particularly distracted driving due to cell phone use and speeding, which were identified as major contributors to traffic accidents in Bastille, where an estimated 700 to 900 accidents occur annually.
So simple things like that, being responsible, not doing foolish things like being on your phone while you're driving, can make a big difference.
He urged reinforcing the need for responsible driving practices. In conjunction with the Sustainable Road Safety Project, Minister Wilkin has reached out to private sector stakeholders, including car insurance companies, seeking their support in the implementation of safety initiatives. The minister aims to foster partnerships and collaboration and create a public-private partnership that addresses the significance of safer roads and decreases the frequency of accidents.
We want the roads to be more safe, and we will try our best to make sure that the Sustainable Road Safety Project is a reality and that we can bring fatalities down to zero by 2030. That is our goal.
He affirmed, encapsulating his vision for a safer driving environment. The urgency of these developments align with the government's broader goals, which, as articulated in the budget deliberations, seek to modernize the legislation and foster accountability within the justice system. The emphasis on road safety resonates with the need for immediate action to protect citizens on the road. The ambitious targets reflect a commitment to St. Kitts and Nevis's residents' welfare and fostering a culture of safety and responsibility among drivers. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force is investigating two tragic drowning incidents that have raised concerns about water safety in the region. The incidents, which occurred on December 17th and 19th, 2024, have resulted in the unfortunate deaths of two tourists, Gemma Manageable from Canada and Vivian Ann Hammond from South England, United Kingdom. The first incident took place on December 17th when Gemma, who was visiting the island aboard the cruise ship Oasis of the Seas, was found unresponsive at Carambola Beach Club in South Friars Bay. Eyewitnesses reported that she had been swimming shortly before the alarming discovery. Emergency medical services and a medical professional present at the beach attempted to resuscitate her, but tragically, these efforts were unsuccessful and she was pronounced dead at the scene. Just 2 days later, on December 19th, Vivian Ann Hammond, a visitor on the Spirit of Adventure Saga cruise ship, also became a victim of a suspected drowning at Cockleshell Beach, located on the southeast peninsula. Reports indicate that she collapsed after swimming, leading to an immediate response from the emergency medical services and a health instructor from her cruise vessel. Despite their best efforts to revive her, she too was pronounced dead at the scene. An investigation into the circumstances of both drownings continue. Authorities have announced that autopsies will be conducted to ascertain the precise causes of death. The local community and the travel industry are deeply saddened by these developments, underscoring the importance of vigilance and safety in water activities as the holiday season continues. In regional news, St. Lucia MP demands action against rising crime. DBS St. Lucia reports.
And I'll tell those thugs from the CDC. I'll be coming to them in a while. The Solomon Clark and the Brent and the Jarvis and all of you, Claude, all of you. I want the police to declare war on you.
During the show, Frederick highlighted the dangerous shift in Castries Central, where areas once considered safe has become hotspots for criminal activity. The MP expressed his frustration in particularly with the lack of action to address the growing disturbances in the city.
I am very unhappy. I am unhappy. Sometimes I pass by the CDC, I see those thugs there. I see them there. And I don't call them because, in my view, you cannot want to associate with me when all you want to do is crime. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that, Solomon Clark. I have a problem, a serious problem with it. Okay? Not too long ago, your thugs, your lime, right there by Mr. Walters, and you'll rob him.
Frederick appealed to the acting police commissioner for immediate intervention. He emphasized the urgent need for more police officers to patrol the city and apprehend known criminals. The lack of action, he says, is negatively impacting local businesses and economic activity. Frederick hopes that by 2025, Castries will once again be a safe haven for both residents and visitors.
I want to call on Mr. Commissioner. Mr. Commissioner, this is getting too serious for us to take a lackadaisical approach. I had some SSU guys patrolling that area for me. I have a no loitering sign there. But basically they ignore it. They lime there, they lime under the CDC, and all they do is rob the tourists. That's all they do. I am sick of it. I am tired of it, and it has to stop. I'm calling on you, Mr. Commissioner, please.
He also spoke about an incident in the city that had an unexpected yet positive outcome. Frederick strongly advised those involved in criminal activity to seek employment instead of a life of crime. He vowed that anyone caught in the act would be taken into custody without delay.
One got his backside beaten up at the hands of a tourist, not knowing the man would fight. Lord forbid, I wish they had done something where you met your demise. And I make no bones about it. You know what I'll start doing? Put your pictures. When I say Solomon Clark, put up your picture. When I say Jarvis, put up your picture. When I say Brent, put up your picture. Aga, Jeff, Claude, put up your pictures. Mash you all doing in the place, man.
Frederick also gave instructions on air to the head of City Police, Mr. Kamshan, to take swift action in addressing the issue.
Kamshan, I want to give you instructions on television. On television. I want the city police vehicles patrolling and arresting those guys who loiter in that area. Arrest them. Okay, arrest them. Take them to court. Let the magistrate grant bail. Let them find money for bail. I make no bones about it.
With tourism numbers rising, Frederick pointed out that the influx of visitors has benefited local vendors and businesses in Castries. However, he stresses the need for authorities to act quickly to ensure that the city remains safe for everyone. For the DBS News World, Manasseh Stanislas reporting.
Several businesses gutted by fire in Grenada's capital. Grenada Broadcasting Network has the details.
Plumes of smoke can be seen from a distance as an early morning blaze on the corner of Lower St. John's and Halifax Street in the capital, St. George, engulfed at least 3 businesses, impacting others in close proximity. When GBN arrived on the scene, at least 4 fire tenders were on hand, with firemen working assiduously to contain the blaze.
This was a major blow to some businesses in the city centre just days before Christmas. It's a time when many businesses have stocked up, anticipating a spike in sales and generating extra revenue. Corporal 869 Michael Redhead, attached to the Community Relations Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force, spoke to members of the media who were on hand documenting the situation.
Around 05:35 hours this morning, we received a call from a concerned citizen that there was a fire at the corner of St. John's Street, Halifax Street. We responded immediately, the police force responded immediately, the fire department. Currently there are 3 fire trucks on scene, SGUs on the outer perimeter in case they are needed. for further assistance. There are also volunteer firefighters on scene, other officers from different departments. Personnel from Grenlec and Nawasa are also presently on the scene. As far as we know, 2 buildings are damaged so far.
The Raw Grenada Police Force employed the use of technology to successfully extinguish the flames. Other entities also responded to the blaze, providing added support to save other nearby homes and businesses.
In an effort to combat the fire, we used drones, or a drone rather, and that was determined how we would enter the building, the fire department would enter the building and fight the fire. The fire department also used instruments such as rescue saws, a poke pole for entry, bolt cutters, sledgehammers, and other equipments. Currently, some of the businesses that are damaged that we know of are the Vienna House, Robert Enterprise, Reveal Hidden Beauty Salon, and Super Smart Store. As you can see, we have a beautiful amalgamation of different entities, including Nawasa, Grenlec, SGU, and everybody has come together to fight this fire. Well, I cannot say at the moment the severity of the fire. Of course, as you mentioned, it will take an expert to determine that, and that will come out later in the investigation.
Business owners were distressed as they received the dreaded news. One of them spoke to GBN off camera.
Half or so, I was home, and business phone started ring constantly, so when I answered, I stole the building was on fire, I came down. When I reached the fire, it was not bad, I wasn't seeing no flames as yet, but the fire truck was here, spraying water and stuff. Couldn't get close. After a while, the fire started to spread high up on top of my building and burn more with a carpet and stuff up there and that kind of thing, so you know you could burn more. The whole building gone, everything gone. Well, I don't even know how to feel right now, just sad and heartbreaking. Life.
Minister for Social and Community Development and Housing, Senator Gloria Thomas, explained her ministry's role in the aftermath of the fire.
If we have people who are displaced from their homes, we have to respond. Maybe we have to relocate them to one of the sites where we have the Chinese housing to accommodate them for at least 6 months in the first instance. So I guess as much as there might be residents among the business places there, and we will have to help them find some place to stay. To get the assessment done, and then we have to see how we have to relocate them. If there's no place in the housing area, we have to rent. We normally give 3 months rent to persons affected.
Chrislina John, GBN News.
We now bring you these international reports.
We will not have a government shutdown, and we will meet our obligations.
Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson said on Friday that Congress would vote to keep the federal government operating beyond a midnight deadline. The House of Representatives voted 366 to 34 to pass a bill to avert a government shutdown. It then moved to the Democratic-controlled Senate before it could be advanced to the desk of President Joe Biden. A bipartisan plan rejected by President-elect Donald Trump and his billionaire advisor Elon Musk would have kept the government funded at roughly its current annual rate and provided additional funding for disaster aid for storm-hit states and farmers. Trump demanded a rewrite to also lift the nation's debt ceiling. That bill was resoundingly rejected by the House, including 38 Republicans on Thursday. Johnson said the new package would provide aid for disaster victims and farmers and ensure that federal workers will continue to be paid. He did not provide specific figures. If Congress does not pass a spending package, funding for everything from law enforcement to national parks will be disrupted, and millions of federal workers will go unpaid. A trade group representing airlines, hotels, and other travel companies said a shutdown could cost the U.S. travel industry $1 billion per week and, quote, threatens holiday travel disruptions that Americans won't tolerate.
After a bumpy week for stocks, Wall Street's main indexes ended Friday with gains after cooler-than-expected inflation data eased worries about the path of interest rates. The Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ all added more than 1%. The Personal Consumption Expenditures, or PCE, price index showed a 2.4% rise in the annual inflation rate for November, below economists' estimates. The report came after the Fed on Wednesday forecast just 2 interest rate cuts for 2025, sparking a sharp sell-off, with equities unable to bounce back on Thursday. On Friday, some Fed officials fleshed out their case for reducing rates more slowly next year, as they assess the impact of tariffs and other policies promised by President-elect Donald Trump. Alexander Morris is CEO and CIO of FM Investments.
Today's stocks are getting a little bit of reprieve after a fairly difficult week, largely led by Jay Powell, reminding markets and incoming presidents alike that he and the Fed are in charge and they're going to do what they think is best for the economy. I think the Fed is signaling very strongly to us that data dependency means really paying attention to inflation. We had thought the shift had been made just to the jobs market. The Fed had been vocal about that. But now we hear Fed Governor Hammack making very clear that this could also be an inflation story for 2025. So data dependency really is the Fed paying attention to everything all at once.
Stocks on the move Friday included Novo Nordisk, which shed nearly 18% after the company revealed disappointing results in a late-stage trial for its experimental next-generation obesity drug, CagriSema. On the flip side, shares of Eli Lilly rose after the Food and Drug Administration approved its weight loss treatment Zepbound for obstructive sleep apnea, making it the first drug greenlit to directly treat patients with the common sleeping disorder. Despite Friday's stock gains, the Nasdaq snapped a 4-week winning streak. The S&P suffered its biggest weekly percentage decline in 6 weeks, and the Dow saw its 3rd consecutive weekly fall.
From a warning by the Fed to Donald Trump practicing his deal-making, this is the week in numbers. 0.25 percentage points was the cut to rates by the Federal Reserve. Markets were more surprised by Chair Jerome Powell's warning that the pace of cuts could slow next year amid stubborn inflation.
The outlook is pretty bright for our economy. We have to stay on task, though, and continue to have restrictive policies so that we can get inflation down to 2%.
Nearly 24% was the surge for shares in Nissan after reports it could merge with Japanese peer Honda. Both are under pressure from the rise of Chinese rivals and the costly shift to EVs. But analysts say a deal looks more urgent for Nissan, which has seen profits plunge. $100 billion is the US investment pledged to Donald Trump by Japan's SoftBank.
This historic investment is a monumental demonstration of confidence in America's future, and it will help ensure that artificial intelligence, emerging technologies, and other industries of tomorrow are built, created, and grown right here in the USA.
Trump said the investment would be focused on AI and prodded SoftBank boss Masayoshi Son to dig even deeper.
Would you make it $200 billion? He can actually, believe it or not, he can actually afford to do that.
14% was the surge in shares for Japanese chipmaker Kioxia as it debuted on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. The IPO ended a strong year for listings in Tokyo, with over $6 billion raised in all. And $107,000 was the fresh record high hit by Bitcoin earlier in the week. It soared on speculation that Donald Trump could move to build a US stockpile of the virtual currency. But Bitcoin later slid back after Fed Chief Powell said the central bank wasn't allowed to hold it.
Italy's Deputy Prime Minister had arrived for the verdict in a motorcade. Matteo Salvini seemed calm in the media crush, but he had to wait all day before hearing he'd been cleared on all charges. Now he's elated and feels vindicated.
Italy has won, and so has the concept that defending borders, defending the homeland, opposing human smugglers, traffickers or foreign NGOs, and protecting our children is not a crime, but a right. It took us some time, but we got there.
Salvini had stopped a Spanish charity rescue boat from docking in Italy in 2019 with 147 migrants and asylum seekers on board. They were stuck offshore for nearly 3 weeks before a court ordered an evacuation and criminal charges followed. At one stage, the American actor Richard Gere had visited the boat and spoke of the dire conditions on board. Salvini was Interior Minister at the time. He banned charities from bringing migrants to the country, accusing them of making overcrowded conditions worse, particularly on the island of Lampedusa. Italy's justice system has long been at odds with the right-wing government over its immigration laws. The legality of Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's plans to send asylum seekers to Albania has only recently been questioned by a court in Rome. Meloni has given her full support to Salvini. With Salvini found innocent, it's possible Italy's government may well look again at shutting its ports to the few charity ships that still help asylum seekers trying to cross the Mediterranean. Andrew Simmons, Al Jazeera.
You were listening to the WINN FM 98.9 newscast. Our top stories were: Romeo Brown charged for firearm and ammunition possession. Tourism Minister on enhancing civil aviation and maritime sectors in St. Kitts and Nevis. Accident claims another life amid rising calls for road safety following heartbreaking fatalities in St. Kitts and Nevis. House passes $1.127 billion budget for 2025. Jelani Duncan and Tabari Roberts sentenced to prison for deadly shooting in St. Kitts. Walter Bass sentenced for indecent assault. St. Kitts Nevis Attorney General advocates for road safety following recent fatal accidents. Suspected drownings claim lives of 2 tourists in St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Lucia MP demands action against rising crime. Several businesses gutted by fire in Grenada's capital. Internationally, U.S. House approves bill to avert government shutdown. Thank you for listening.